to welcome our Danish friends. As you can see, they all display very keen interest in the affairs of our country. And I know that now that the country is at crossroads, and we really are at crossroads, it's extremely important for us to be aware of the pretty dazzling affair back home. None of us have been spared the onus of what is coming on. We've all been witnesses to elections. We've been witnesses to the sufferings of our people in the midst of plenty. And the calamity of our nation is particularly because we are so blessed with human resources, material resources, climatic resources. We got everything except the leadership of our nation. It has been apparent to us since the 1st of October 1960, when Nigeria was the hope of the entire continent, not only in terms of agriculture, in terms of education, in law, in environment, in engineering, climatology, you mentioned it, we got it. Somehow things have gone wrong. Why? I don't think that there's a facet list of the reasons, but there are definitely many, and we are all aware of it. And the key to all of this is getting round pegs in round holes, square pegs in square holes. But the opposite has often been the case with our country. Now the time is here. Now the time is here, and something has to be done. There's no magic to it. Can we afford that people can't even have electricity? Can we afford that no water supply? Should there be food shortage? Should people down our roads? Nigeria ought to be the leading nation on the surface of this earth in terms of solar power development. Now we are importing fuel into a country whose revenue, 90% of our revenue or even more, is accounted for by oil. You can't get the oil. Diesel, which is cheaper to produce, is more expensive than petrol. How in the name of goodness do you account for that? Our refineries don't work because some people profit by importation of oil into a country that lives on oil. How do you prevent that? Everything is just going down the drain. And I've heard rumors that they are scheming to reinstate themselves in power, those who are there now. You see, I don't care who is in power. What I care about is, are they doing the job? Are they doing the right? Hunger doesn't know which political party you belong to, what your age group is, what your sex is. Hunger doesn't know that. Disease, treatment, access to health are completely independent of what political convictions you have. I don't care who's in power, but people should not suffer in the midst of plenty. In this connection, Dr. Austin Amechi, who is a globetrotter, as the president said, he came from London. I went to collect him at the airport. He's been back to London today. If I call him tomorrow, he will be asking me from Texas. The other day, he was in Germany while I was trying to find him in Britain. In any case, he will give us a couple of words on this issue. It does not matter whether it talks of this political party, that political party. That's the essence of democracy. Demos and praxia, as the linguist here, Mrs. Lutzen, can even hold a long lecture about that, the origin of these terminologies. Anyway, he'll give us a couple of words. I can say one or two more words later, and this is an open discussion. So the floor would be asked to please contribute something.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is, I always prefer to just say Austin Amechi. You know, all these doctors and those that, Austin Amechi is the name given to me like that. And quite comfortable saying that. I'm quite glad to be here, really. And I really want to thank God. I'm a Christian. I do also associate with other religious groups. And in this sense, I try to commit those issues to God. So I want to use this opportunity to thank God, really, that all of us were able to get here. It's been minding the weddings and everything. It's also important to appreciate everybody that's here. I really love it that I was just thinking who and who are going to actually attend this function. Because one of the problems we have when we say Nigeria Crossroad is how do our people, you know, commit themselves to issues that concerns the nation. They sit at the background and complain about how bad things are, about how people are not doing what they're supposed to be. But if you give them an opportunity to actually contribute just by attending functions like this, sometimes they find it very difficult to do. It's not only here, wherever they are, it's the same. But the most important thing is actually to get that message out, to get the information, try to reach them where they are. Like Prof said, those of us that knows Nigeria very well knows that there's so much that can be done better than it's been done at the moment in Nigeria. And the whole essence of how we see the democratic movement in Nigeria at the moment is to try as much as possible to get the international communities involved. Because if you think about it, anywhere there's problem, you see the Western world running to hell. But I think that the most important thing they can do for us is not just helping us when there's problem, they need to help us when there's no problem. And the helping, I don't mean in terms of giving us the development aids, because we don't really need those things they're giving us. If you really sit down to analyze it, what we have is more than what we're getting from them. So what we need really is them holding the leadership to account for what they are getting from the land. As well, obviously, the development aids and international aids are always important. But the most important is for them to have interest in who and who are managing those stocks. Okay? Because if you think, there's a project I'm doing at the moment for European Union through Scottish government. They're doing this common agricultural policy, which Denmark is also part of it. I'm consulting on that project at the moment in the process of doing other things I'm doing. And if you think about what they are doing to support an average farmer in Europe, if you want to, it's only when I got involved in that project that I found out, oh, is that how food is everywhere? Because Europe, all the farmers in Europe are being directly supported by the European Union. That's why they call it common agricultural policy that covers about feed, cattle, and everything. Okay, the project we're doing at the moment, you see that every cattle that is in every part of the country within Europe has a number. They can know when something is wrong. They can know when a disease enters into the food and things like that. They can trace it. So, election is coming up in Nigeria now, and Nigeria happens to be one of the obviously biggest country in Africa. We also happen to be one of the most favored nations in Africa. Everywhere you go, if you don't say Nigerian, then you're joking. There must be one Nigerian in every part of this world doing one thing or the other. Well, there's no society or there's no country that hasn't got these political parties, okay? Because that's how democracy works. There has to be an association. So when this issue came up, Prof got involved or sent kind of invitation to one of the principal actors in Nigeria at the moment, General Muhammad Buhari, trying to get involved and to understand what is going on and to obviously offer his advice and things like that. And along the line, I was made to know about Prof. as I got to know him. Because the general called me, Austin, there's this Prof, and we've been hearing about him, and they're going to please take a special interest, keep up with him, and let's see what we can do together. That's how we're communicating with him. And Prof is obviously very well regarded, but here he's in Denmark. We need him in Nigeria. Prof, I'm sorry, we're going to drag him back to Nigeria to see how he can help us there as well, you know. And so, Prof talked about this press conference and trying to see if we can get the general and others to come over because obviously a lot of our people are here and people are keen to know. Like I emphasized, it is not really about political party, but it's about holding people who are there responsible. And unfortunately, if the Western world and international world leave it for the Africans to do, we're not going to ever get that. All we'll be doing is dragging you people back because we're always going to have problems and you people are always going to come and solve it or help to solve it. So the only way we can actually get moved up and you guys benefit from us, I mean the Western world, is by taking special interest in those who are doing. Taking special interest in the processes. Okay? That is not sufficiently being done at the moment. Okay? So one of the things they've been doing, all the political parties, it's not just the APC or the General Buhari, even the current president, President Jonathan, who is PDP, they're also going to international boards and telling them, please take interest in the process. Monitor what is happening. It's not only when there's a problem, because obviously, the way it is going on, at the end of the election, there's always going to be rigging. And if it does in the same way that it was been doing, you never know how the reactions will come. And obviously, the Western world will get involved immediately. But if they manage to find a way to get involved before the problem actually starts, then whoever is thinking about, because at the end of the day, most of them have moved all their families over to the Western world. Yeah, even our president, like it or not, all his children are adopted and they raised biological children, they're all in London now. It's moved them away because of the election. And majority of them are moving their family out, anticipating that there might be a problem. But they can do that because they have the money, they have an average man in the street in Lagos or cannot do that. Those are the people that will die. Okay. So this morning, I was telling, yesterday I was talking to General Buhari's team about what we're going to talk. He said he's going to say something this morning. And behold, what did he say? He said about civil service. He said I should talk about civil service today. That if he was able to come, that this is what he would have wanted to share with our people. Because if you think about the Western world, we talk about corruption everywhere. We talk about things not being done. Things are not being done because civil service is not working very well in Nigeria or most of African countries. There's no policy in this country, government policy in this country, that can work if the civil service in this country is not supported. Because they're the managers. They're the people that will execute it. They're the people that will monitor. That's what they call the whistleblower. If they're not doing that, politicians can do anything. Politicians can always go to their house and debate in their whatever they do and come up with this policy, so we're going to do this project. Who actually implements that? Those are the civil service. So, how to say that? He's been going around for the past few months, campaigning, talking everywhere, people know him about this anti-corruption, disciplinary. He wants things to be straight as it should be. That is a man. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to talk just about him. I'm talking about the problem in Nigeria, and we're talking about the solution. And who do I happen to know? I know all of them, but happens at the moment, I associate myself somewhat closely with General Muhammad. That's why I'm quite confident I can talk about him. Okay. So if you really analyze the whole problem, okay, Sulston, those that know him a little bit, now addressing some of our Nigerian brothers here who are here and sisters, those that knows him, he was our past head of state using a military time between 84 and 85, 20 months. Prof was talking about importing food, and I laughed. If he said he also laughed, because he will tell you that he's been a minister, he's been a president. He said that he built 3 refineries in Nigeria within 20 months when he was Minister of Petroleum Resources. One of the things that accusing him, yes, you built, but you're not the one that designed it. It is not about coming up with ideas. The problem is about execution, making sure that it's actually executed. Okay? What you see now is that they tell you they've spent so amount of money. They build this, they build this. No, but that's not the issue. The issue is, was it properly executed? Was the right policy properly done? How was the monitoring to make sure that those things that are supposed to have been done were actually done? So permit me to, before we can go, I'm sure there's going to be some analysis, but let me just read, obviously, what he's saying, okay? I don't know if I can find a way to share it, but let me just read that, okay? He said that, he wanted to say that I should start by saying that, to thank my good friend West Prof, and it's obviously because we know that it's only Prof. Prof told him about it because he sent some email or something you guys exchanged, so he knows about your name as well. I said him to organize it. So he started trying to say that we should obviously say a big thank you. Okay? So basically, like I said, I'm trying to speak on behalf of him as well as on behalf of his campaign team. Okay? It's obviously not about Buhari or APC, but Nigeria is at crossroad, and it has to be a solution. And that solution cannot come from Jupiter or the new things they are finding out there. It has to come from people. And it happens, you see, there's always an opportunity more at the top. When there's a problem, where there's a solution can come from bottom up, or it can come from top downwards, okay? Well, fortunately or unfortunately in Nigeria, what we need at the moment is actually a solution from top up rather than bottom up. Because bottom up solution is only where you have the strong institutions. Like, it doesn't really matter who is at the top, provided because any policy that comes from the top has to be massively debated and agreed both by the opposition and the people in government. And once that becomes a policy, the people that actually does the actual implementation are the civil servant, the people at the bottom. That's why it's bottom up. Okay. Buhari was of the opinion that when it comes to the future of our country and communities and rest of our country, that civil service should be of considerable interest and concern. Since we rely heavily on the associated outputs, especially for our most vulnerable government services, in areas of leading and managing change, in area of commercial, and in area of project management. You say Nigeria is at crossroad, but with better planning, better execution, and greater motivation, that civil service at all levels can provide the solution to the economic growth and development that Nigerians are looking for. Civil service forms the framework for administrative work of the government. Therefore, it is important that we address civil service concerns. He's trying to say that in the first 3 months of taking office, if elected, as we trust Nigerian people to do, the federal government shall publish a civil service leadership statement and strategy, which will make clear the expectations of all the civil service leaders and can be used to hold leaders to account against these expectations. Only leaders at all levels who motivate and empower their staff can make us a truly modern and prosperous nation. I expect all our leaders in the civil service to take their responsibilities to heart. He said that it won't work unless we all sign up to it. So he went on to say that the civil service leadership strategy and statement will create a culture in the civil service that is more open to challenge and better at fostering an inclusive and empowering country. So that the culture of any organization, or any country for that matter, is and can be set from top, which is why I'm committed to improving our leadership. So it has never been more important to create a clear and defined and exciting career path at every level and every function across the civil service. So the only way we can improve and reform what we have is by ensuring that everyone has the skills and capability they need to excel at their job. That means developing the profession, setting up clearer opportunities for progression, and putting a structure in place that supports development and build capability, particularly in those areas where we know we could be stronger. To that end, we shall be creating a capability plan that will provide all civil servants with the opportunity to undertake 5 days of professional development learning in a year, mandatory 5 days as a minimum. We shall endeavor to provide face-to-face as well as e-learning courses with a greater focus on the priority capabilities, which is leading and change, commercial, project management, and digital. Finally, with the general election in February, as ever, if elected, I and my party will be dedicated to implementing strategies of government that will ultimately provide first-class services to our people. We must emphasize that prosperity hasn't always come easily, but through hard work, greater challenge, and greater change, the promise of all of us here and millions of Nigerians around the world who are working for the successes of our campaign shall become the promise of Nigerians. And someone once said, our prosperity that lifts every boat, that we rise and fall as one nation, that our economy is strongest when our middle class grows and opportunity is spread as widely as possible. That is the promise we must keep, and I must keep as the president if elected. And I look forward to working together and fighting to make it real as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. That's a short address I sent. I'm quite happy when we get to the general floor to ask questions. I'm quite happy to air my own personal opinion that I also know. I'm probably what I know from him as well. Thank you very much.
If you roll back to my introduction, I said the problem, the country is at crossroads. Yeah. I didn't say Jonathan was at crossroads. I didn't say Buhari was at crossroads. I said the country is at crossroads. Yeah. My conviction is that our people should not suffer the way they are suffering. There's no question about that. All of us have families back home. No matter what party they are supporting, APC, PDP, ANPP, Labour Party, whatever they call themselves. As I said, hunger does not recognize political boundaries. Access to health care is independent of a political party. Good roads, sanitation, water supply, steady electricity supply, industry to grow. The party doesn't figure in anything that is going on in society. It's only an organization of some people who seek political power. But when they get there, what are they doing with the power they have been given or that they have stolen? When we know of mandate being stolen, we know of election results being tabulated, being announced. I can tell you with authority that the governorship elections held in Osun State on the 9th of August 2014. Unfortunately, the results that had been tabulated before the elections were held leaked. The police were used, the security forces were used to intimidate, to ensure that even ballot papers were not available to supporters of one political party. It almost ended in chaos, if not because of the overwhelming support that the party that eventually won had. Things could have gone on fire. And this is what I'm trying to caution about. I think everybody knows the pedigree of General Buhari. Everybody knows the pedigree of Goodluck Jonathan. So I'm not here to say, please vote for him, don't vote for him. The facts are there for everybody. And this forum here is actually designed such that people can air their views. That's the essence of democracy. And then let the better side win. And let the better side win fairly and squarely. That's all I'm about. So if anybody holds any view on a political party, I don't know how many there are now. Please, the person is free to have this microphone and speak about it. If I PDP support, please come, speak. I will listen. If an APC supporter, please come. I will listen. AMPP, come. I listen. Accord, come. I listen. Labour Party, come. I listen. I mean, let's put the arguments forward, fast forward, views forward. It's in cooperation, as Dr. Amechi said, it's in cooperation because nobody is all wise. I may be 90% correct or 90% wrong. You will be 90% correct, I'm 10% wrong, but it doesn't matter because the 10% where I am right may even buttress what you are saying or the other way around. So let's keep it on a very civilized level. Anybody holding any contrary view to this or to that, please, that's why this microphone is here. And this podium is free for all of us. We are Nigerians. None of us want any evil to befall our country or our people. Because, you see, it's like having a driver of a vehicle and then saying, no, because one of the passengers in that vehicle does not support me, I'm going to crash the bus somewhere. Everybody's going to lose. And that is the case with our country. Views of any picture, views of any shape and size is welcome here.
Prof, can I comment on the impression, please? Mr. President, sorry, it's not really campaign, as I said, okay? What you guys say that you're doing is Nigeria Crossroad, okay? And people are trying to offer the solution and what they think or thought they might bring that solution to, okay? And fortunately, unfortunately, one of the persons that wanted to contribute is an active politician, okay? And I don't think your definition of Nigeria Crossroad or your explanation or the description of what you're trying to do are forbidden from saying.
No, that is not it.
So I don't want anybody to feel that it's a campaign because at the end of the day we don't actually have votes. Some of us that are here can't even vote. And that's one of the things why we're at Crossroad. Most civilized democratic nations in the world offer their citizens, wherever they are, a vote. Okay? But we Nigerians, at least, if 2 weeks time I'm in Nigeria because I need to vote. Okay? But some of us who are here cannot even vote because we are not allowed to vote. So it is also part of the solution we'll be seeking. Okay? We should be sending information to those in power and those in oppositions. Okay? We need to be voting. they need to make fast because we have embassies in most countries of the world. So it's not it's now campaign for you to vote for Buhari. You say you don't have vote. But why it is important? Because like Prof said, you have family in Nigeria. So you need, and just like we're telling our international partners and international friends to take interest in what is happening. They don't have vote, they don't have children and families there. But what happens in the country affects them. So it's not, I did not, I'm sure that Buhari did not go against their plans about the discussion to find solution.
Okay.
I just wanted to clear that.
It's fine, it's fine. Professor, please, you have you have 30 minutes.
No, it's not a problem.
That's why expressing what I said earlier, that all views are welcome.
Yeah.
We are not tyrannical at all. If we were, we wouldn't even call a congregation like this. The essential thing is to exchange views, because it's like a cook. When so many ingredients, that's what gives the taste. And that's why contributions are so vital. That's what makes progress. Everybody knows exactly what the human mind wants. None of us here wants evil to befall our nation. Far from it. Everybody wants progress. You want a clean environment. You want safety for your family. You're not even safe in your own home. When they bring a lorry load of thugs and just raid the whole street, rob them of everything they have. Is that a civilized society? Of course not. My view, this is my own personal view now. Changes have to come from the top, not from the bottom. Because it is the top that dictates what happens and trickles down the ladder. If the top is clean, the bottom is bound to be clean. But if the top is corrupt, then you at the bottom, if anybody does you any evil, who do you complain to? Because the next level maybe is corrupt, then you can't even get to the top, because if the top is also corrupt, it means you at the bottom of the ladder have no chance whatsoever of getting justice. And a place where anybody can get away with a crime, that country is doomed to destruction. You loot the government treasury, nothing happens to you. There's no Nigerian does not know the difference between right and wrong. They choose the wrong thing for the following reasons. One, that's what profits them most. Two, more importantly, they know they will get away with it. In a country like this, if you know that you drive 100 kilometers per hour instead of 30, because there are school children and so on and so forth, you know you can't get away with it because it's recorded, the fine is there, the penalty is there. But at home, they may even change the 100 to 10. They remove the 0. Then we say that, he was even driving too slowly. Are you going to charge him for driving too slowly? So when you know that you can't get away with a crime, you will not commit it. Look at Nigerians, the way they be at the airport when they get there. The complete chaos. The same Nigerians who are being like animals. After they land in London airport, in Zurich, in Cologne, in Frankfurt, wherever it is, they are like angels. The same Nigerian. Why doesn't he behave like a lunatic in all those places? He knows he can't get away with it. At home, anything goes. These are the issues that I want to talk about. These are the issues that affect me and you and your family. People should take down decisions. We know the pedigree of everyone wanting to be a president, a governor, a senator, a member of the House of Representatives, a local government, a council. We know their pedigrees. We're not campaigning for this or that. As Dr. Amechi said, we don't even have the vote. We can't vote. So if we can't vote, do you think we're actually campaigning here? No, we're just drawing your attention to the fact that contributions have to be made, and have to be made by people like you and me, so that those back home know that we are not sleeping out here. We want changes, we want improvement, not for personal aggrandizement, but for our society. That's my own word. Anybody wants to contribute something, please, please, please. The microphone is here.
Are we finished? Are we finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, we were expecting 2 other people, but we were not sure. I mean, according to the doctor, 2 other people were supposed to come. They were there. I was not sure. Even their whereabouts. I was not even certain. So actually, it was the expectation was that if they came, they would have a time slot. They don't seem to be around. You can't see them now. So in lieu of those other people coming to can give a default, a few minutes to share what he has with us, and then after the floor will be open for discussion. Thank you.
You want me to go there?
Well, you will listen that.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. President, and our honored guests, and our speakers. I'm very impressed by I reckon that what Dr. Amechi told us is more or less a kind of policy paper from the Buhari part of the campaign. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. So I would indeed actually also have liked to have a policy paper from the Jonathan camp. But since we don't have that, I don't know whether those 2 speakers were supposed to provide that. I would like to appeal that we take this discussion not so much on what one of the candidates wants to do or not. I personally, I feel that the idea is very good, focusing on those who are supposed to do the day-to-day running of government in Nigeria. But as the Prof also pointed out, and as many of us know, we have a lot of problems in several areas of the country. And crossroads, I don't know exactly what we mean. I think that we have been at crossroads for the 60 years we have had independence. Because we were very optimistic when we got our independence in 1960. This was a country that was going to move forward. Unfortunately, events have proved that that was not going to be so. But up till this present time, we're thankful to God for the fact that we still have some kind of democracy in the country. And I think that whether we have the vote or not, or whether we're in Nigeria or not, it's our duty to always try to promote something that will help the country to slowly crawl along into the right path in the development of democracy. So my plea and hope and prayer will be that when we now begin to discuss everything about our problems here, we should focus on how to actually, in fact, this summation, I think, will be the thing that we should try to focus on. What can we do for Nigeria and Nigerians, rather than what the politicians can do. In the end, it is the common man that votes the people in anyway. So even though we do not have votes, and we say we should focus, our attention on the leadership, it is the common man that votes. And the politicians, they rig elections, yes. But to a certain extent, the elections that have been the past few years have been monitored by foreign observers. And to a certain extent, they have told us whether the elections have been fairly free or fair according to, how shall we say, Nigerian standards. So my appeal is, let's look at Nigeria and see what we can do. And here I would like to appeal to our friends who are with us to give us some ideas as well. We have a union here which has been struggling because it's not supported by Nigerians, and physically, because you can see now this place is supposed to be filled with Nigerians who are interested in hearing about our problems, but they are not here. So this is what I can say at this time. If we really get onto the debate, maybe we will all be able to contribute. Thank you.
So, well, thank you, Dr. Well, as you can see, there's not so many people here. Maybe because the thing was organized very quickly and the information about it was sent out it was on a very short notice. And people have a lot of things to do. Today being Saturday, and very late on Saturday. People have to do things with their family, shopping and things. So that's why. But we are here now.
Yes.
We can't do anything about it. So we have to make the best of what we have now. So the floor is now open for discussion, contribution. So if anybody wants the microphone, we'll get it. Who has anything to say? Sorry.
I think Dr. Adefu actually just put his hands. Well, my name is Charles Owakbo, and I think Dr. Adefu actually put a finger on one of the important points, which I think first and foremost the topic, Nigerian crossroads. This is not new. I was a bit, I won't say disappointed, but I was expecting in terms of crossroads, which crossroads are we talking about? Because Nigeria has always been at crossroads. Is it because of the next political dispensation we are looking into, that we are looking at ourselves and say we now are coming to a new junction in the life of Nigeria, or is it because of the present issues that are actually affecting the country? That is the first thing. Then secondly, I know you, Dr. Amishi, gave us a paper from your sponsor or your principal, which of course we do really appreciate about the civil service. But what I think we did not see in that paper was exactly how. It was more. It was like an abstract, not the implementation. How? Because the Nigerian civil service has been comatose for more than 30 years. And who did it? Who were the people that actually ruined the civil service that the First Republic created? How come the exams getting into the Civil Service Commission into Nigeria were rigged? How come we began to have, how do you call it, how would I say, we had leaders within the civil services that were not honed to take care of the daily activities of the ministries. how are we going to reverse this trend? Because this is a trend that has been going on, and we've been independent now for over 50 years. That trend has been going on for more than, I would say, more than 40 years. The general might come, of which I fully and squarely put part of the blame of what is happening to Nigeria on his shoulders and his camaraderies, his comrades, on what they did to Nigeria. I am 39 years old. I was barely 8 on that when Buhari first came. And the other professors said we should look at his pedigree. How would you tell me, and I can vote, I go home at my PVC, how would you tell me? And I know the influence I have in my own community at home, even though I'm a diaspora. I know that the way it is in Africa today, my money moves vote, not because I'm going to bribe people, it is because I know at least today I can feed more than 20 to 30 people within my community. So when I tell them to vote for this, they vote. So how would you tell me, a young man 39 years old, to vote for a man of 70 that I don't even know when I knew he took over from the government? I knew the things were going well. We were corrupt. Yes, we were, but we were a nation that was less than 30 years old at the time he came in. And that was the third or fourth time they've been coming in. You're telling me to vote for him and give him my votes again? No matter what it is, pedigree or no pedigree, Jonathan, or those who are there today, since we're not talking about political persons or political parties, those who are talking about who are there today are the generation that actually were the buttocks that bear the brunt of the boot of the military people. And those who want to come in, the head who want to come in, is a man that I think is actually not aligned with the people or with the youths of Nigeria today. You might have very nice and very strong people like you who are very, academically aligned, or people who are strong to lead him along. But I think in this computer age, whereby doing banking is by sweeping a card, you don't have to stay in queue like 30 years ago or 40 years ago, or many years when it was there. We don't expect such leaders to be coming. By now, such people, we expect them to be elder statesmen, to people who will advise us and guide us along on where we are going, to the journey and to the promised land. No people coming to tell us of policies or the civil service today. That is an institution they destroyed. And how to build it. That is for me. That is my main, I would say my main issue with the term paper. Because I would really love to know when they give you back, how have you had a brainstorm with him? Have you had a discussion with him? How does he want to revamp the 5 months? I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah.
5 months is nothing. In this country, we know how much how much is being projected for every individual to go for courses or to go for training. So I would expect more than 5 months, please, sir. Okay.
Nobody's taking action, and he said he was campaigning. How could they tell the governor because he stole a small money? And Jonathan also telling the world that stealing is different from corruption. Are you telling me that a Danish minister will come up and spend, even a civil servant will spend his department money and get away with it in this country? Then why will we say that Jonathan should research? Democracy? What democracy? Did we not get the democracy from Britain and from America? Is that good?
Their version of democracy.
I just wanted to ask if you also have thought the question that after all, Obasanjo came back as a civilian president for 8 years, and he was a military leader as well. I mean, if he had, if this is the, what do you call it?
Criteria.
If this is the criterion for whether he may run as president or not, then we could say that immediately Murtala was killed. Obasanjo should have said, no, I am a Democrat at heart. Let's hand over power to the civilians. He didn't do that. So I don't think that the fact that he was a military leader disqualifies him from becoming a democratic leader today. Seeing what Obasanjo, seeing the history of Nigeria as displayed by Obasanjo. Okay?
Chief.
and other parts of the world.
Chief, sorry to interrupt, but you see, Chief, this is where, this is what you call it, there's a big divide here in Nigeria. You see,
Okay.
most of us that are under 40,
Yes.
we do not see the military as a place where future Nigerian leaders should come from. Obasanjo could get away with it because, well, maybe at that time, many of us were not interested. Secondly, that was the first after a long interim of military. That was when we said, okay, we could allow it. But right now, personally, I do not have anything against, I'm not partisan.
No.
I don't really, if it's PDP, because Nigeria's problem is a problem that was instituted across all parties. If you say it's corruption, if you go to the states that are APC, or you go to PDP states, or you will still see the same thing. Nigeria's problem is corruption, the big C. It's our biggest problem.
Right.
So when we are saying, we the youths are saying, we are using that criteria now. We have changed. Things have been, in short, this is a new era where the youth, we are saying, anybody, if you have not retired for military, or you are not retired, or you had a dictatorial tendency in a dictatorial government before, we will not put you in. We will not vote for you. And that is why we are saying it's a new normal. The criteria for military is there.
Well, you are running a democracy, and that democracy is built on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And there's nowhere, to my understanding, where it says that so and so is disqualified.
Disqualified.
But democracy has started in Athens did not
let me finish. There's nowhere it says you are disqualified because you are 70 or 90 or whatever, or you have been a military dictator before. Okay? So I'm not holding brief for Buhari. I'm just saying that you refer to the younger generation, and that's fair enough. But that is why you have democracy. You have a big span of people living from, I don't know what the voting age is in Nigeria, whether it's 18 or 21, 18. From 18 to all those who are above 18. So, democracy allows you to come and choose your man. Whether
Or
you
woman.
can, or woman, sorry, a woman. You can campaign for your man or woman, whether they are 40, whether they have been slaves before, whether they are academical, whether they are not, whether they have been leaders before militarily, and therefore autocratically, or whether they have been democratic leaders. So I don't think that should be an issue. I think the issue must be, what does this man plan to do for us?